Underground. I am your conductor, Soroya Van Horn. We're leading you in your pathway to freedom today as we are interviewing President Matthew Stewart of stewartspeakers.org here in Indianapolis, where he's bringing in prominent speakers to the Indianapolis community, educating and inspiring speakers here in the Indianapolis area. So if you're interested again in business ownership, we are talking about the benefits of being involved in a community service organization. Again, to get involved as early as possible. Matt, one of your mottos is leadership that matters. Tell us about leadership that matters.
Yeah, so absolutely. So there are a lot of people that are out leading things, and if you are leading, and the old adage, you look back and there's no one following you, you're just out for a walk. So you have to be engaged. You have to have the pulse of what's going on in the community, and you have to look beyond just where you are at the moment. A leader denotes some kind of vision, some kind of foresight. And so, leadership that matters is about getting those national speakers and local speakers to come in front of an audience to help galvanize, if you will, to help motivate, empower us to move forward. Because in a real sense, we're all leaders to a certain extent, but we have to be equipped with the necessary information, with the necessary guidance to make sure that we're making a true impact. It's really time out for us to just gather for the sake of just gathering. We have to be about the business of moving this community forward. And so when you look at issues like schools or education, when you look at things like churches and what are we doing to impact the values in our community, when you look at the criminal justice system, something that I happen to know quite a bit about, have spent the last almost 4 decades of my life being involved in, and I'm tired, I'm sick and tired of going to homicide scenes where black males are laying there on the ground, and black males in handcuffs for having shot and killed another person. So that indicates to me that there is a lack of impact, a lack of leadership, a lack of direction. And so we can't just blame other folk. We can't just blame the church. We can't just blame the police department. We just can't blame other groups. We have to be about the business of getting involved, connecting, and doing whatever we can where we are. You don't have to have $1 million to make an impact. And so that's what Stewart Speakers tries to do, is in its own little corner. We try to bring in those national speakers, those luminaries, because we know that young people tend to model themselves after people they see, whether it's on television, whether it's in the movie. They model themselves after people they see. And so these national speakers, we're asking them to come in and to work with our young people and to help motivate and impact their daily lives.
So, given that, are you looking for other volunteers here in Indianapolis that can help with that effort?
Absolutely. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for those people who are serious. Now, if you're not serious, don't knock on the door.
Keep it moving.
There won't be an answer. But if you're serious about becoming engaged, and when we say serious, we mean committed. We don't mean show up on day one and day two, we can't find you. We mean to get involved, to do the work. Is the work always easy? No. Sometimes the work is hard, but it pays off. As the church song says, after a while, it pays off. And so we're looking for volunteers. If you're interested in volunteering, call us at our offices. Our telephone number 317-297-2905. We take any age, so you can be 13, 14, 15. You can come to the programs and help distribute booklets. You can partner with an adult, a host, to see how it is actually done. We take high school students, we take college students, we take adults who have not actually been to school, but who have a willing heart, who have a willing mind to find out what it is that we need and to meet that need. So, yes, we're looking for volunteers. The telephone number or the website, stewardspeakers.org.
Fantastic. If you're just joining us, we're sitting here with Matthew Stewart, president of Stewart Speakers Organization. And Matt, I want to talk a little bit more about the volunteers. So I know normally when people are looking to volunteer, they come and they're kind of confused on where they need to serve. My suggestion would be to serve at your weakness. So again, as for me personally, one of my weaknesses was fundraising. That's always a scary thing for some, but yet it's the biggest part of a nonprofit. So suggestions there would be to, again, get in. Sometimes you work with your strengths initially, and then you can work with your weakness. So again, if you're looking to get into social media, normally all nonprofits need that social media skill. So you can build that up. Again, if you have a day job, companies actually look for other things that you do. What is your community service organization, or what can you do on that resume to help build it up? So again, everything is not a paid event that builds up to your character and your performance as far as a career path is concerned. So again, to my advice would be to have people, from a volunteer standpoint, to work toward their weakness, and again to get that skill set. So, given Stewart Speakers, what are some of the volunteer spaces that we are in need of?
Yeah, so again, Soror, you really, you're on it. This business underground pathway, it's just, it's just phenomenal because it is just critical that if you become involved with Steward Speakers, you're going to be able to work with social media. You're going to be able to work with designing our brochure piece or our program booklet that we print some 4 or 5 thousand copies of. So a lot of individuals will see your work. We have hosts. We have people that sometimes are introducing the speaker or that are shadowing the speaker. So you get a chance to connect. And as I was listening to you pose the question, I thought about our title sponsor, who is IUPUI. IUPUI has been our title sponsor for the last 4 or 5 years now. And as I think back, you said you get in where at your greatest weakness. And for you, you said it was fundraising. And as I sit here and I think you really introduced us to IUPUI, our title sponsor. And so they've been with us ever since that introduction. So IUPUI, they undergird us. In fact, without IUPUI's financial contribution, this speaker series would not be at the level that it is currently at. So again, I thank you for your leadership there. You certainly came in and made the difference. And so it's about getting involved. You don't know what you can do until you become involved, engaged. And that's how you learn and you develop. And so I just encourage young people, adults of all ages, to become involved. You might want to help with our annual road trip. One of the other things that Steward Speaker Series does is we're developing a youth council. And so you might want to become involved with helping develop young minds and young people and getting them engaged, because we know the old saying again that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And so if we want to impact criminal homicides or criminal assaults, we have to be about the business of showing good role models, good examples to our Black males and females. Or you might want to get involved in our community convener conversation. So from time to time, we convene conversations around education, around the criminal justice system, around churches, and what its relevant impact is to our community. So we say to you again, become involved. There's not a lack of issues, programs, ideas to become engaged with. but sometimes there is a lack of workers, committed workers. And so we say, come get involved. Call us at area code 317-297-2905, Steward Speakers.
Matthew, I tell you, it's always a pleasure. We could talk for probably another couple of hours here, but leadership that matters. Again, this is Matthew Stewart of the Stewart Speakers Organization, where this week we are preparing for none other than Valerie Jarrett on Thursday. If you don't have your ticket, again, call 317-297-2905. Matthew Stewart, president of Stewart Speakers here, I just want to capitalize on what you said. Closed mouth does not get fed. So again, 32 years in business, we want everybody to know about stewardspeakers.org. If you can, if you could please share and like us on Facebook, and then to visit the website. Again, this organization is making an impact in the city. And again, we talked about the strengths of blending business and community service together. Again, you have not because you ask not. You have to come out and meet the people that can be of impact to you. And not only that, how you can serve. So it's not so much who you're meeting, it's what you can give. Again, we talked about the community and getting involved in volunteer organizations. That is a huge, huge, huge benefit. And any leader that's being about leadership is involved in a community service organization, if not 3 or 4 of them like you started off in Bloomington. Matthew, it's been an honor to have you on the show. This again is the Business Underground. I'm your conductor, Soroya Van Horn.
Thank you very much.
All right, this is Soroya Van Horn, your conductor in the Underground Business Opportunity, and we're here with Matthew Stewart, Stewart Speakers. Matthew, we've been talking a lot about leadership that matters, about volunteerism, about the community and how they can get involved. I've got a quote here that says, he or she who serves almost always benefits more than he or she who is served. So again, it's what you bring to the table. And that's what you said we're looking for. In other words, you have to have that desire and to bring it, and we can definitely help you to grow and nurture, either work with your strengths or your weaknesses to help you in your business pursuit, in your volunteers pursuit, and your growth, bottom line. So I will say also as the secretary of the board for the Stewart Speakers Opportunity, I also serve as the tour planner for the summer trip. We initially started the tours during the summer, again, during that off time that the speakers are not in session, to help the community and to involve the community a lot more in what Stewart Speakers does in a fun way. So each summer, we take a summer road trip. We started with the opening of the unveiling of the Martin Luther King statue in Washington, D.C., and that was the beginning of our Stewart Speakers summer road trip. This year, we are actually going to Buffalo, New York, and also into Niagara Falls area. We chose the June 15th weekend, which happens to be Father's Day weekend, because of the Juneteenth celebration. Again, Buffalo celebrates Juneteenth, and they are the second to Texas as far as celebrating that. So we're very excited about going into Buffalo and Niagara. Niagara actually just announced that they will be opening up a museum, a new underground museum there to celebrate the bridge that Harriet Tubman crossed over. And that's a museum that will be opening up on May 15th. So we're right in time for that museum opening there. But let me ask you about the summer road trips. Out of all that we've taken, which of them would be your favorite and why?
Well, I mean, that's an unfair question, Sir. You've been great up to this point, but we have been to 5 or 6 places so far. DC several times for the unveiling, as you indicated, of the King statue, the opening of the African American Museum, and that was awesome. When we went for that, we had the opportunity to meet Oprah Winfrey and President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama and Stevie Wonder, and it was just a rich history of who we are, and to see all of the artifacts and items in that museum, it made you want to stick your chest out. So
Your check too, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. They garnered that as well. And then when we went to the African Americans Museum, one of the days that we took our bus trip, we went over into Baltimore, where Freddie Gray lost his life in the back of a police wagon. But we actually went to the neighborhood that he grew up in, and you could see still the despair and the destruction, and young people, particularly males, just standing around, wandering around, walking around aimlessly. The mirrors, the graffiti on the wall, the housing project. So it was quite an experience. And so there, and then we've been to Memphis, Tennessee, and that was a rich experience in music and history. And we've also been to, last year we went to Detroit and to Canada. And so, of course, you know, in Detroit is the second largest African American museum, only second now to the museum in Washington, D.C. So to answer your question, I mean, it's very difficult to answer that question. We went to the Martin King Center in Atlanta on one of our trips, and visited with the colleges there, from Morehouse to there on the strip. So it's just been a wonderful experience, and so I would have to add that perhaps all of them have been the best experience. But it's not only the destination, but it's also the experience that you have on that bus going to and coming back. You've not experienced anything like it before.
Yeah, awesome. We appreciate it. It's an honor to serve at that level, actually. And then I want to just share with you, I know with our Buffalo trip coming up, again, that's going to be a rich experience there with the street celebrations for the Juneteenth celebration. And they are preparing for us. So they'll have media attention. They know who Stewart Speakers is, and they know that we'll come up there, and actually you'll be a feature on there. I didn't tell you that, so that's a good surprise. So they'll have some media coverage for Stewart Speakers. So as you talked about that vision for Stewart in the next 5 years, again, I don't know if Buffalo is ready for us, but we're going to bring it when we get there.
Ready or not, here we come.
There you go. Fantastic. So, again, we are here with Matthew Stewart, president of Stewart Speakers. It has been an honor here, Matthew, talking about the Stewart Speakers organization. But I want to lastly ask you about Magic Johnson. So when Magic comes in April, what is it that you hope that he will be able to share with us about business or about what he does as being Magic?
Yeah, so Aurora, that's an excellent question again. So Magic represents not only sports, entertainment, but that business market that opened up Starbucks, that opened up movie theaters, and so when you're doing these kinds of things, you're providing jobs, you're making that impact, that commitment, you're able to reach out to other groups and organizations and impact their mission and their goals and objectives. And so uh, we are glad to have Magic Johnson come and share that. We're going to have a little fun too, and so he's full of laughter and excitement and energy. But we also want to say to our community that it is important to not only have our kids involved in sports, but to be able to go beyond the sports into the business model, because that's what's going to sustain us after the laughter has stopped.
Exactly. Matthew, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming and sharing with us today. This has been the Business Underground. I'm your conductor, Soroya Van Horn, leading you on your pathway to freedom.